In this video, we're going to talk about a principle or a concept that I use quite a bit called counterconditioning. Basically, counterconditioning is exposing the subject, in this case, Gus, the subject, to a stimulus that is something that the dog is reactive to in a structured way and creating a positive association with it. Yes. All right, so one of the things that Evvie is reacted to is skateboards. So what we would do is, and we have a neighbor kid that can help us with the skateboard. So we first need to identify the distance. How far away does the skateboard need to be before she feels comfortable enough to sit down? Sitting is a more subordinate position and also puts the dog in a disadvantage because if she wants to run away, she has to get up first. So, and now some dogs also are possessive and protective of a location. So it might not be appropriate for you to do this in your house. It might be you need to go to a park or a place, maybe your grandma's house or somebody else that's not here so she doesn't feel like she's on duty. So what we do is maybe we keep on having the kid move far enough away, and I'd start off at maybe 25 feet, and then have him kind of, what I do is I hold the treat up in front of the dog's nose. Now make sure it's a really high value treat, something that has a strong aroma, not just kibble, nothing dry, nothing processed like bacon strips or crappy treats like that. Something that's really gonna have a strong, you should be able to smell it yourself and be like, ooh, that's pungent. Mm-hmm. So what we do is I squish it and then I start letting the dog nibble it out of my fingers so that a little treat this size can be about 4 to 6 bites or nibbles. And so the idea is when the skateboarder is over there, we get to we gotta find out whatever distance she starts considering it potential threat or something to take note of. So let's say it's 10 feet that way. So that's where the starting point is. So we're gonna have him go really slow until and have him pass her. This is where we're just identifying and we're letting her chew on this treat. If she chews on it the whole time and stays seated, okay, then we'd have him take one step closer and keep on practicing that and keep on coming one step closer until you get to the point where you put the treat and she kind of looks around it or she wants to stand up. So now we've identified her kind of threshold. So let's say we're at 25 feet is the threshold that we've identified. And this might be one session where I just identify this and don't do anything else. And then he goes home and we go home and we come back to this next day. We start at 25 feet. And again, take note of what's going on. If there's a jackhammer, a party, or some loud noises, that can set her up to be more stressed and that can affect the technique. So let's say that we don't have any of those things going on. We're at 25 feet. We're gonna have the kid walk by now, or kind of propel himself on the skateboard by, very slowly. So when the boy reaches like the 10 feet zone that she's gonna start feeling alerted, we're gonna start delivering that treat. And once the boy passes her, we're gonna pop the rest of the treat in her mouth or take the treat away depending on how much is there. If it's just a little bit, pop the rest of her mouth. The idea is she's reacting when she's barking at the boy for coming, and again, this should be sub-threshold, so she shouldn't be barking, but normally she would be barking, hey, I see you, get over, this is my house, I want you to leave, boy, that's right, you better leave, that's right. So the dog thinks that it's making the people move away by barking at it, and every time that happens, that reinforces the dog's belief. So in this case, for counterconditioning, we're gonna flip the script. So when the boy approaches the time she's normally about to bark, we've increased the distance so she doesn't feel threatened, and now we're delivering a high-value treat, a motivator, something that she likes, while the boy is coming towards her, which is something she does not like. As soon as the boy passes her and now she's getting her way, the treat goes away. So we're going to do that until we can have 5 passes by the boy at the same speed at that distance, and she sits there and takes the treat without any hesitation. Then once we've done 5 of those, then we're going to have the boy take one step closer and practice again. If at that point she starts to get up out of her sit or looks around the treat, we know that she's at her breaking point. We always want to end on a good one. So if she does it right with the first one right away, then we maybe have him go back to one step. If she reacts, have her calm down, walk her away, walk her out of line of sight, or have the boy walk away. When she's calm, come back to those positions. So the idea is we want to push the boundaries and get him as close as we can get him to her without her reacting or going above threshold. Now, let's say we do 5 times, we come 5 feet closer, we're at 20 feet, and 20 feet she has having problems sitting. So then we go back to 19 or 21 feet, have him do one successfully, and then have him just keep on trucking home. When he's gone, then you guys leave and come back home. So the next time we do it, we'd start at 21 feet. Now, the thing I guess I forgot, and the reason I wanted to do this video, is we're going to do it, let's go back to 25 feet. We're going to do the 25 feet until we get 5 in a row at that speed. Then we're going to have him go like 10% faster at that same distance until we can get 5 in a row at that speed. And you'll probably be able to go through several of these quite a way until you get to maybe if he's going full bore, that's too much. So we take note of the speed that he's going at. So let's say we're at, and I would give him like a percentage, 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. It's hard to get too much dexterity in there. So give me a 50% run, give me a 25% run. That way he kind of knows what's going on. So once we can get 5 of those in a row at the highest rate of speed, that's when I would take the next step closer. Then I would go back to the lowest rate of speed and keep on doing that until we can get 5 of those in a row. Then I would go to the next level of speed and keep on going up until, so 25, 50, 75, 100% speed. Now we take one step closer and keep on doing this until she is again about to get up out of her sit or looks around the treat. That's when you take note of where you're at. So because there's a couple factors here, you might want to have a little sheet or a notebook so you can keep track at 21 feet, got to 75% or whatever it is. When you do this, that way the dog is creating a positive association with the thing it's normally reactive or fearful or anxious about. And with enough repetition, the dog starts to think, well, when a skateboard approaches, I get the best treats I've ever had. When the skateboard leaves, the treats go away. Can we get like a skate park in our front yard so I can have these treats all the time? Now, this is a slower process. What screws most people up on this is they go too far too fast and they push the boundaries. So remember, your dog cannot bark, get tense, anxious, or get up. And so it doesn't have to be just looking around or not taking the treat. If it just starts breathing heavy or freezing, those are also, or licking its lips a lot. Those are signs that I'm stressed out. So if you do this properly and you take your time, eventually you get to the point where the boy is going full blast right next to her and she's not reacting at all. This is how we can use counter conditioning to stop our dog from reacting to skateboards and other things.